the Miami Heat may be facing competition in their attempt to acquire Damian Lillard, with the Chicago Bulls being a new team that has reportedly tried to get involved in trade talks with the Portland Trail Blazers to acquire Damian Lillard. So according to Kyle Neubeck, the Chicago Bulls have been making calls the last few days trying to get into the Damian Lillard sweepstakes. The Miami Heat have long been thought to be the eventual landing spot for the all-star point guard who requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers almost 3 months ago on July 1st. And as we all know, through past videos that I've created, there haven't really been any traction, any negotiations throughout the summer. Joe Cronin, during his press conference, mentioned that he wants to take his time to find the best offer possible, and he said it could take months, which has been true thus far. And there's been lots of reports saying that the Heat have put together an offer and a framework based on what Portland was looking for, which is draft picks, young players, expiring contracts, etc. And they have denied and have not been interested in what Miami has offered. They want to get as much as they possibly can for their best player in franchise history. And so reports recently have said that Portland has been rekindling trade talks with the Miami Heat, other teams, as they get closer to training camp and as the regular season is rapidly approaching, and teams like the Chicago Bulls are now potentially trying to get into the mix. So Chicago was mentioned earlier in the offseason as potentially having a role in the Damian Lillard trade, and a deal could have included Zach LaVine as a possible trade piece, but that also went nowhere throughout the summer as the Heat continued to pursue Damian Lillard while being rebuffed by the Trailblazers all throughout the summer. And they reached a point where the two weren't even communicating, and the Blazers had no interest in dealing him to his preferred destination, which is the Miami Heat. It is unknown if Chicago is entering the fray to make a deal directly for Lillard, or if they're simply interested in becoming involved as part of a multi-team trade that may essentially get some more assets to Portland. And so the Bulls may possibly acquire a Miami Heat player to help facilitate this trade. So it's also unknown if Lillard would actually report to the Bulls. We've had conflicting reports again from Shams saying that he would only report to the Heat or the Trailblazers camp. So not sure if he would even report to Chicago if he got traded there. But again, according to an article recently, a few days ago, Anthony Chang and Barry Jackson said that if Dan gets traded to any other team besides Miami, he would request a new trade from that new team he gets traded to. So this whole thing's a mess. During the offseason, going back to the Chicago Bulls, it was rumored that the Bulls may be interested in shopping Zach LaVine around. I made some videos saying that the Miami Heat should pursue him if he made a trade request, or if the Chicago Bulls were actually shopping him earnestly. So I think the Bulls weren't actively trying to trade Zach LaVine during the offseason. I think the Bulls were just simply gauging the market and wanted to identify Zach's trade value to see what they could possibly get if they were going to go through a complete rebuild. And pretty much just from the rumors, the Bulls set a very high asking price for Zach LaVine. I mean, he's still 28 years old. He's averaged 25 points per game. He's super efficient, a really good player. And I made a video around why I think he would be a good person to pivot to in the future if we can't acquire Damian Lillard for some reason. And so I'm a big fan of Zach LaVine and his game. I don't think Dame will be traded to the Bulls specifically, and that's for multiple reasons. One, Dame only wants to play for the Heat. So ultimately, I think it's going to be hard for other teams to put in offers knowing that Dame doesn't want to show up. And if that other report is true that he's going to request a new trade, that's should be the number one deterrent for even putting a package together and making an offer. Two, I think the Blazers already have a bunch of young talent at the guard position with Scoot and with Simons and with Sharp, who's more of a wing player. So I don't know if they want to get a Zach LaVine in return. Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's a bad move, but I think what they would need is someone who's more of a big, to help with that rebuild and that structure of the team. So I don't think it makes sense for the Bulls. Also, because the package is going to be super high for Damian Lillard. As we all know, Cronin wants to squeeze out everything possible from Miami. So the Bulls would have to give up some of their young players, like Pat Williams, Kobe White, draft picks, multiple 2-3 picks, possibly again adding Levine in there. So they would have to gut their roster in order to acquire Dame. And is it really worth it to gut your team if you're the Bulls, or even if you're like a Raptors? But specifically if you're the Bulls, is Vucevic, Dame, and DeMar going to move the needle? Like, how far does that team get you? I don't think that team wins the East. They could probably get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't think that's even a guarantee. So why mortgage your future for a disgruntled superstar that doesn't move the needle for you? And I think he doesn't move the needle for a lot of teams out there. So, in my opinion, this doesn't mean anything. I think just the Portland Trail Blazers are just trying to gain back some leverage by getting other teams interested. If another team puts an offer out there, then Miami has to stop playing chicken and come back to Portland with a real offer. So that's my thoughts on this scenario. Let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.